All right, let's go. All right, let's go.
Yeah, so Dell, we talked pretty much about the trade, if they're going to trade or who in Vancouver, and they finally pulled the trigger, and JT Miller goes to New York.
Yeah, and JT had 3 consecutive 30-goal scores. Not bad.
Yeah, pretty consistent.
Average 100 minutes in penalties and 3 fights per season. Already had 3 fights this year.
Yeah, you know, the one thing, Dad, that you talked about last week was you said with Pettersson, who's going to take him? Making $14 million this year.
Yeah, and they're paying too.
They're paying him, and U.S. too. And the part of the deal that they said was a hiccup was that there was teams that wanted him, but the Vancouver had to eat some of his salary, and they wouldn't do it. And so the Rangers are picking up all of.
Well, they can with the crowd they have.
Like, it's just like you said, though, Dad. They didn't get back what?
No, they never. Once you put a guy on a market like that, and say, we want to trade him, you never get it back.
Yeah. Do you think Vancouver will get on a roll now, or do you think that's behind them?
Well, I think that helps them. 2 goals. You got 2 goals last night.
That helps the Rangers.
Yeah.
It doesn't help Vancouver. Pressure now Dell's on Pettersson.
Yeah, he's got to produce now.
Now he's got to produce.
No more excuses.
No more excuses.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Okay, Dell, we got next question.
Okay, I ate Gary NHL. Don, the salary cap is going up for the next few years. I know it's good for the players, but is it good for the game?
This year it's going up 88 million. Next year it's going up to 95 million. Next year it's going up to 104. And next season it's going up to 113. It'll definitely hurt the Canadian teams.
Yeah, I think so.
What's the dollar?
Yeah, that's not 88 million for them. That's
no, you figure. That's $1. What is it? So it's $1.40. Almost. Oof. No, not that. $1.39 or something. Like, it's 60
times that by 88 million.
Yeah.
If they can't make it down in the States.
Yeah, Canada will be like their second choice.
Yeah, second choice.
We'll be the farm team for the U.S.
Yeah, that's about it. Well, like Toronto, I think will be okay, just because they have such a large corporation behind them.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't want to play in Toronto.
But you look at, like, I think a single owner like in Winnipeg. Yeah. That's going to hurt them. You know what I mean? Because they just don't have the corporate sponsors like they do. Mm-hmm. You could say that with Edmonton. You could say that with Calgary. It's
a lot of guys will see the United States.
Yeah, and then you got to be careful then where you're going to go in the U.S.
Yeah,
you don't want to play in California with their taxes, and you go to Dallas or you go to Florida. There's no state income tax. That's a big difference on a $15 million contract.
Yeah, you're not kidding. It'll be tough on the Canadian and the smaller markets.
You know the one thing, Dell, that bugged me this week in the end with the National Hockey League is, like, I wanted to see Marc-Andre Fleury play in Montreal. It was his last time, right? The Flyers playing in. Yep. And I'm not going to subscribe to the National Hockey League, their thing, an exorbitant amount, so I can watch the Ducks and the Sharks play. And they just constantly are blacking out games that you want to see.
Yep.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
No,
like, I want to kind of, Ottawa's on a roll. Wanted to watch the Ottawa game last week. Nope, sorry, blacked out in Toronto.
I only watch one game of hockey a week. Saturday on CBC Gem, because that's the only one that's free. I don't want to pay $100 a month to watch hockey.
No, because there's not that many games you really want to watch. Like, I really don't care about what's going on out east, but, like Edmonton. But if Edmonton's playing Colorado, I want to see, and they black it out. Yep. I don't get that. I don't see how that helps their marketing.
Doesn't.
Because Fleury got a shutout in Montreal. That was
nice.
That was something.
From Puck Bunny 43. Hey, Don. Who was the best coach you played for?
Well, I have to think about that one. I would say Frank Curry. I played in Kitchener for him, and I thought he was the best coach. He just left us alone, and we responded.
Yeah. How's Punch Imlach rate?
Well, Punch was pretty good, but Punch was on his way to the National Hockey League. Punch was pretty good.
Yeah. How do you rate your coach in Rochester, Joe Crozier?
Oh, Joe had the team. He
owned the team, right?
Well, the only team. And him and Punch. And I found out later that they own the club. As soon as we get in trouble, a couple of guys that come down from Toronto. I could never.
To help you guys win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I couldn't figure that one out. Never could figure that one out.
Was Joe Crozier the one that he called you all guys in his room and he was dying or something?
And the guys are making fun of him.
So what did he do? He called you in the room. What happened?
Well, he called him a room, 4 or 5 guys. And here he was laying in bed. Like, that Nani was dying. But he was there.
What did he say?
Oh, I forget what he said. But I know he let on he was dying anyhow. And he was dying. He was fast, sinking fast.
Oh, yeah. Didn't the one time who were you with? I don't know if you remember that you said that you were walking back with Punch Imlach and he had a heart attack.
Floyd Smith and I went into this bar, and Punch walked in about 1:00, and Floyd Smith and I were sitting together. He had a beer with us, a couple of beers with us, and we were walking back, and it was so cold in Buffalo that he had a heart attack. He had to call a cab. We thought he was kidding. And here he was. He really was having a heart attack.
So we'll go this way, Dad. Okay, who was the worst coach?
The worst coach. Now let me see. The worst coach. I have to think about that one. Eddie Shore was the worst coach I ever had. In 2-on-1, he had us running at the one guy with the puck.
Yeah.
And everybody knows you're supposed to stay in the middle.
Yeah.
And he had us running at the guy. He could do it.
That's one of those things like superstars that don't make good coaches, right?
And he could do it. He could do it. He said, "Do you have to slam everybody into the boards?" And he'd take the puck off them. I don't know how he did it, but he did it.
But he was the worst.
He was the worst. He was the worst coach I ever played for.
All right, from Ryan Malloy. Your defense partners in the AHL.
Oh, with Daryl Sly. He saved me more. I'd stand up at center ice, and the puck would be shot in our end, and Daryl would be just behind me, and he'd go back and get it, and boy, could he motor. I was with him for about 6 years.
So who were some of the other guys that you played with, Dad?
I played with Connie Madigan.
Connie? What kind of defenseman was he? Connie Mad Dog Madigan. You said one of the most vicious guys ever.
Vicious guys ever. I used to have bacon and eggs for breakfast all the time. And one day Rose said to me, why are you getting so pumped up for the practices? If you know the practices we had, you'd get pumped up too.
And that was in Spokane?
I was in Spokane Comets.
What I kind of remember about Daryl Sly, he could really skate.
Oh, he could really skate.
And he was a good defenseman. Why didn't he make the National Hockey League?
He didn't care because his wife worked too, and they live on her money. And
she was a nurse, right?
Yeah.
You said he put all his money into.
He put every penny of his money that he earned for the Rochester Americans in the bank.
Yeah. I thought he said he invested it in gold.
And I remember one time...
Smart man.
He would never buy a round, eh? He'd never buy a round. He'd never buy a round. And even I bought a round once in a while.
Well, that's a cardinal sin, isn't it? Not buying your round?
Oh, not buying your round. And Jerry Eman came to me and said, he's going to buy a round. When he buys a round, he comes with it. Don't forget, we're all going to get up and leave. And he came with the tray, and here it was full of beer, and it was for all of us. And we got up and left. I said to him the next day, I said, what did you do with the beer? He says, I drank it all.
And then he became a successful card dealer owner.
And then he went
Collingwood.
Yeah, and then he went to Collingwood. He's pretty good.
He's got a bunch. You want to hear a small world, Del? So that was in the 60s, right?
Yeah.
And Daryl Sly, Dad's partner, his son, married the sister of a girl that I went to school at in Mohawk.
Really?
Yeah. So
imagine that.
Yeah. So I remember Marcia, and she says, I was talking to her, and she says, my sister married a Sly. And I says, we're in Collingwood. And so I kind of rung a bell, and I says, what's his dad? Oh, Daryl Sly. I said, that was my dad's defense partner.
That's cool.
So that was in 63, and that would have been in like in 82 or something like that. So talk about a small world.
Damn.
Okay, Dad. So watching the Edmonton Leaf game last night, and Connor McDavid joked but wasn't. He was mad, and his quote was, yeah, Toronto comes into our building and we have to change our schedule.
Well, they didn't change it for the Leafs because they don't care. They changed it for the CBC.
Yeah, but still, though.
They changed it because it's the Leafs, not for the Leafs.
Because it's the Leafs. That's what he was mad at.
The market.
So, and what was, watching the game last night, so it's 4-3 for the Leafs. Yeah. And they score a goal, and it gets called back. What was your number one rule that you said with the Bruins?
Bobby Orr's got the puck, don't go offside. And everybody thought that was funny. And I was serious.
You're serious.
I was serious about it.
So for Edmonton, it should be,
when McDavid has the puck, don't go offside.
And that's what happened. The guy went offside.
And he just lifted his leg just a little.
They went offside, and they lose. So that was the thing. But, you have to admit, I mean, the score was 4-1 and for Toronto, and the shots were 19-33 for
they were lopsided
for Edmonton.
Show me a good goalie, and I'll show you a good coach.
Yeah, but you can't. You said that before, though, Dad. You can't do that in the playoffs.
No. In the playoffs, it's altogether different.
Yeah, like you might be able to do that one or two nights, but you can't do that consistently. And it seems like Toronto gets consistently outshot.
Oh yeah.
And then Winnipeg won last night. I bet you if you go to the average hockey fan and you say, what are the top two teams in the NHL? How many of them would say Washington and Winnipeg?
Well, they won't end up there.
But you look at those, like you say, Dad. What do they have in common? Those teams.
They're both good goalies.
1-2 goalies in the league, right?
Yep. M. Patterson 69. Hey Don, we hear about some of the long bus rides in the minors. What was the longest bus ride you remember, and what did the players do to kill the time?
But the longest ride I was ever in was from, I would have to say, from Rochester to Quebec.
Yeah.
That was the longest ride.
Then, you guys didn't stop. You just went, played, and hopped on the bus and went back?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That would suck. Your legs would hurt just more from the bus ride than the game.
So you did, you didn't have a pregame meal or anything? You just stayed on the bus?
Joe Crozier would phone ahead to a hotel or something and have a meal set up.
Yeah, did you guys check in and have a nap and a meal and then play? Or?
No, we slept on the bus.
Well, so what'd you do? What'd you do to kill time?
Well, that's what we did, just play cards.
Yeah.
I was a good contributor.
I can imagine.
Yeah, nowadays.
I can imagine. I remember the story Mom told that you guys actually were on a train in Hershey. And you were going somewhere, and you were going to stop at Hershey, and then go on. And so all the wives were going to meet you at the train. Yeah. So the train stops, you guys get out, and what did you say to Mom?
I said, if you got $2, if you get an extra $2, I can get into the next spot for $2. and we played cards. I remember Baz team having 4 deuces. Four natural deuces.
Wow.
4 natural deuces. And it was quiet. Like when the game was over, it was quiet.
Who did he beat? Some guy like
Al Nicholson.
Did he have like a full house or something like that?
He had a full house. He had aces and something else. No way he could lose.
Yeah.
Unless he had 4. And when he turned up the extra deuce, holy, because we figured he had 3.
3 of a kind. Yeah.
3 of a kind.
Was it a big pot?
Oh, big pot. And there was all of us in it. We're in it because we all had good hands. I got out. Hey, what do you think of that, Grapes? He started to cry.
Wow.
He says, "I'll give you my steamer." I said, "I don't want your steamer." He said, "I'll give you my steamer." And
We still have that in the basement.
do we?
Yeah, the steam trunk. Oof. Yeah.
Well, anyhow, do you still have that?
Yeah, I still have it. I got it in the basement.
Holy Diana.
So, but the funny thing is, I remember Mom saying that all the wives, they were going out for dinner after, right? You know, they're going to meet you.
Oh, they were
guys-
going to have high
hamburgers, and the husbands came and took all their money.
I think she had enough for a hamburger.
Yeah, all they had was enough for just to go to a hamburger place.
Keep the poker game going.
Yeah, and I remember the place, too. I remember the place on the way home.
Okay, now we got one last question.
All right, from Northern 500. What are the best and the worst arenas you played in?
Well, the best I played in was Toronto Maple Leaf Gardens. I remember getting stitched up in Cleveland, and I was in this table in the middle, and the players were coming out of the showers, and the steam was coming out of the showers, and I looked up, and here was this guy going to stitch me, and he had been drinking. He'd been drinking. Here I was getting stitched, and my eye stitched up, and steam was coming out of the dressing room so bad. You could hardly see his face, and the guys are hollering, "Come on, Grapes, come on!" Throwing the towels, "Come on, we got to get going." Well, that's the way it was in the American Hockey League.